Emotional, raw, and thought-provoking. The show has received praise for its gripping portrayal of high school violence, teen resilience, and childhood trauma. It's a haunting and yet empathic depiction of modern youth and the consequences of unchecked aggression in high schools. Park Ji-hoon's nuanced performance as Yeon Si-eun is quietly powerful. The show has earned praise for its cinematic fight choreography, whilst contrasted with the subtle, powerful, quiet moments of friendship, caring, and the trauma and sadness that they go through. The action is fun and exciting, but it's not glorified. It's quite grounded. It makes each moment quite visceral and meaningful. The three actors chosen give so much emotional depth to the series. Yeon Si-eun, Ahn Su-ho, and Beom-seok. The evolving bond, the fractures, add compelling layers to the story. These three actors that they chose, they give so much emotional depth to the characters. It's like you're getting a full background, a full history of their upbringing, how they were raised, the kind of problems that they're dealing with internally. On Rotten Tomatoes, the series holds 96% critic score. So the audience is basically praising it. It says the show isn't about glorifying violence. It's about what people become when no one protects them. It's so true because all three of them, they deal with bullying and they deal with violence differently, completely different, which is why all three get together and they have this unique friendship because they almost complement each other in the way they deal with all these situations that we're in. They all react differently, and so they work together as a team very well because they all approach each problem differently and they react different and they solve it differently. You can't just react the way Su-ho would with everything, just fighting with everything, but at the same time Beom-seok is he's just been beaten down all his life, and that's not the way to do it either. It's very binge-worthy, very addictive. I could have finished it in a day if I didn't make the videos reacting to it. It's very immersive. You can really get sucked in because everyone can relate to it no matter what age they are. They've all been through high school and the experience. They haven't dumbed it down for people. They really cover certain topics, important topics about growing up, but they've not given the audience an answer in terms of what's right or wrong, what's the correct way to deal with it. Instead, they just let you observe. In a way, you get to watch them make the wrong choices and deal with the consequences. Like, it's very frustrating watching Su-ho and Beom-seok, the way they react and what's happening with them, but you can't do anything about it. You can only watch and observe. You know, everything Beom-seok does is just a bunch of actions that they all have consequences, and you can watch him do everything, and it's painful to watch. You can't fix it. It's just something you have to accept and live with. It had a lot of popularity in South Korea. It premiered on a Korean platform called Wave in 2022, and it quickly became one of the most watched dramas. Netflix has got so much power to release a show 3 years later, and then it gets this big resurgence. The realistic depiction of bullying. I don't think the show romanticizes. I think the show starts off very exciting. There's lots of action to keep you gripped and interested, but every so often it really does drop a heavy moment or two that really shows the psychological trauma and the fear and isolation that somebody feels when they go through this type of experience. It's interesting that it's based in South Korea, that it has a different societal pressure that they have as opposed to in the West. You have the systemic issues that are quite prevalent in Korean schools. You have the very clear understanding that if your family doesn't have money, you need to make sure you do well in school and you have your studies. Otherwise, you are going to struggle in the future. Korean audiences in particular did note that the show does mirror a lot of real cases of bullying that have been shown on the news, making the show very realistic and painfully authentic. Fight scenes are raw, messy, painful rather than glamorous. Punches do feel heavy, the weapons hurt, and the characters really suffer the injuries of the fights. The action is directed very well. It's high level, looks as good as any, martial arts, Jackie Chan, Donnie Yen film. It's not like martial arts, it's not like stylized, it's just very realistic, like MMA, and it's very fast and you can feel the punches. Park Ji-hoon, who plays Yeon Si-eun, even mentioned in interviews that filming was emotionally and physically draining because the tone is so intense and realistic. Seems that for Korean audiences it does strike a chord because school bullying is a very serious social issue and often in headlines. It's a very respectful culture. However, most cultures, high school, teens growing up, developing humans, are going to go through ups and downs. That's where you're going to go through the rough patches in life. There's lots of Korean dramas that are very fantasy and romantic, and they are very nice and soft. But this is a very realistic show that does show, the darker side and the realistic side of growing up. Once you get immersed in this world, in this high school where you can watch the action, you can enjoy and get sucked into the martial arts and the action, the violence that it's giving off, and then suddenly they'll hit you with a very serious topic and suddenly it grounds you in the reality of what's going on. Like in the end of episode 4, when you get a scene with Beom-seok where his father is beating him, and suddenly it changes everything. It takes you somewhere that you weren't expecting to go. It grips you in a real way. The cast. The director, Han Jun-hee, aimed to cast actors with great energy who could lead a new generation of K-dramas and films. He intentionally selected newer faces as a launchpad for their careers. Park Ji-hoon as Yeon Si-eun. Park physically and mentally prepared by taking action school classes, slimming down to appear frail, meticulously studying fight strategies that reflect the character's cerebral fighting style. This guy was a K-pop star. Very interesting how he's been able to move to very serious acting. Looking at him in some of these videos, you can see why he's a very successful K-pop star, but the directors and the showrunners would have taken a risk with this kid. However, I'm sure they put him through a very hard audition process to see if he could carry the show. He's received wide praise for shedding his idol image and delivering a raw, emotional, grounded performance. Many viewers saying that they couldn't see Park Ji-hoon anymore. He very much embodied this character, Si-eun. Choi Hyun-wook as Ahn Su-ho. Choi improvised lines and expressions, bringing spontaneity to Su-ho's laid-back charm, earning him the nickname Idea Bank on set. He deeply immersed himself in the character's emotional depth. Choi's emphasized Su-ho's maturity is masked by the humor and loyalty in the way he behaves. Hong Kyung as Beom-seok. Hong captured Beom-seok's emotional complexity, someone identityless, vulnerable to influence, carrying deep pain. He worked closely with the director to connect to the character's dark layers. Park Ji-hoon said watching him inspired his own performance. Oh, okay. Hong's previously won Best New Actor for Innocence. His role added global attention to his craft. I'm gonna have to check that out. One of the most noteworthy aspects of the show is the friendship. It's so important for the show that these three have great on-screen chemistry. It's the key to the entire show. The breakdown of their friendship relies heavily on them capturing and showing that they had a strong bond to begin with. They do this very naturally. One of the strongest ways they do this is that they each play their characters so well, so they don't try to bend for each other. They each play their characters so well and they just get put into one space together. They're not trying to be friends, they're simply put in a situation together. They're maintaining their strong characters together, and it means that they just mesh. They don't intentionally try to communicate or get deep with each other. Instead, you get a lot of subtext. You get Beom-seok looking at Su-ho and thinking things. He never speaks it out, he's just thinking. And he does this so well. And Su-ho doesn't bend for anyone. He is just himself. He is who he is. And he doesn't change at all for anyone, which is why we love that character. They were picked well for these characters, but you can clearly see that they've put a lot of work into building these characters. The scenes are shot long, they're drawn out. The director doesn't cut away. There are long close-ups where you get to see the characters thinking and being in the moment, really feeling what's happening. Doesn't rely on a lot of dialogue to explain what's happening to the audience. A lot of it is just subtle, non-verbal performance, which seems to be popular style of acting, good acting. It's very real. They don't tell audiences are very intelligent now when they're watching. They want to work things out. They don't want the plot given to them. The audience wants to work it out as they go along. The best thing about a performance is when you have a difference of opinion. Like you can agree, like one person can agree with what the character's doing while another person can disagree, because there's no right or wrong answer. It's a very realistic performance. So let's talk about the best moments. So for me, Si-eun's breakout smile at the end of episode 4 is pretty special. It gives the audience what they wanted for so long, to see this side of him. We never see him as emotionless, but we can see he struggles to fit in, to trust people, and to let loose and show how he feels and to enjoy the moment. If you think about Su-ho's character, he never gets the chance to have a big epic displays of emotion like the other guys. He plays a less emotionally intelligent type of person, but his performance and strength is that he really embodies this character. Su-ho appears to be an emotionally simpler person that doesn't have big grand expressions, but he maintains this look in his eye the entire time that really embodies this person. It's always Su-ho in his eyes, you can see. He doesn't turn it off. Okay, so he has elements of humor, motivation to live and push. You can see who this person is through his eyes and his expression. It's so subtle, you could be mistaken and say that there's a lack of expression, but there isn't. He's doing so much, it's so subtle that you don't realize what you're watching. With his eyes, with his calm, controlled exterior, he's showing the audience who he is, who this person is. You can see his background, how he's raised. You can see his upbringing based on how he reacts to things. You know, it's very calm, it's very controlled, always. And that's very hard to do acting, because it's almost like he's not acting. Episode 7, he confronts Yoongi, and this little dip of the eye he does is fantastic. Then he goes to see Si-eun, and this scene's so special. All the communication is all in the subtext. Si-eun's hiding and protecting Su-ho, and Su-ho can see it. And you see Su-ho's concerned and feels bad that Si-eun's hospitalized because of him. But because of the way Su-ho is, he can't say it. Okay, he has to be in control all the time. He can't accept help. He can only make a judgment on what he thinks he should do and how he should react. It's frustrating for the audience, but it's very realistic in terms of how he deals with things. Episode 6, I like the struggle he has when he shoves Beom-seok in the school canteen. The look back to Si-eun and the pain he has after doing it. You can see it's so subtle, but you get a glimpse that Su-ho doesn't enjoy, and he wishes he didn't do it, but because he needs to be in control, and that what he thinks is right, and you can see it very, very subtle. And Beom-seok, obviously at the same time, you can see the pain in his eyes, because you know as well everything he's going through, and you also know as well how Beom-seok feels about Su-ho deep down. Beom-seok basically drives the last half of the series. His storyline is the most powerful, and he really has amazing range as an actor. Episode 6, these little moments talking to the bullies, glancing at Si-eun, trying to fit in. Si-eun confronts him, and Beom-seok just cannot directly look him in the eyes. It's so frustrating to watch. And as a bonus, I found this deleted scene of him and Su-ho under the bridge. I wish they kept in. You really see Beom-seok and how he looks at Su-ho with affection, and he's trying to ask him about Instagram. And it's a beautiful moment, really. I don't know why they cut this out. Maybe it would have distracted slightly, because it's giving their relationship a bit too much. But you can see Beom-seok, how he feels about Su-ho, and Su-ho is oblivious, or maybe doesn't want to face that kind of attention. And then one of my favorite scenes in the entire show, episode 6 with Young-hee. I love this close-up. No hiding away, no special cuts. You see super close-up his anger and pain. He can't help it. He's trying to keep control. He's even trying to play the bad guy. And you see little quivers in his lip and the anger and pain. And his mind's probably gone too far at this point, but he's truly turned into a monster now at this point. A monster created by monsters. And finally, the best ensemble moment for me. Like I said before, I wish there were more moments like this when we could see them as a trio. More funny moments, more cute little moments where they could just have some banter, little bits like this. I wish they did have more of it. So episode 2, at the end, finally get the come down where they all get to sit together. It's the first time you get to see Si-eun let himself be part of the friendship group, because he struggled with showing his feelings, struggles with trusting people and letting himself go. And this is the first time you get to see him relax and look at the friends and look where he is and appreciate where he is. There is a lot to pack into this, but I am really glad I watched this show. It's clearly popular worldwide. Check it out if you haven't. My reaction videos are pretty good because I try to include each relevant moment in each episode so you can still follow along the storyline. So it's not just my reaction and commentary. You can sort of enjoy the show at the same time. Please let me know what you think of my picks and any recommendations. Any recommendations any of you have for any other K-dramas that are up to the standard of Weak Hero. I'm eager to find out more work that these actors have done as well, so please let me know in the comments if you know. As always, thank you for watching, and I shall see you on the next video.